How often do we question our trust in God? Today, we dive into the heart of trust through the lens of the Bible. Trust is a concept that we often take for granted. It's the unseen bridge between us and others, between us and our dreams, and between us and our faith. It's an essential pillar of our relationships and our beliefs. But how often do we pause to truly understand it? What does it mean to trust? And more importantly, what does it mean to trust in God? We live in a world where uncertainty is the only certainty. In every moment, we are faced with situations that test our faith, our resolve, and our trust. It's in these moments that we often look towards a higher power, towards God. But how do we perceive this trust in God? Is it a blind leap of faith? Or is it a calculated decision based on our understanding of Him and His teachings? Trust in God is not about relinquishing control, but about acknowledging that there are things beyond our control. It's not about blindly following, but about seeking guidance and finding strength. It's about understanding that our path may not always be straight or easy, but as long as we place our trust in God, we will find our way. The Bible, a timeless source of wisdom and guidance, is filled with verses that encourage trust in God. Each verse, a beacon of hope, reassures us that we are not alone in our struggles, that there is a divine force watching over us, guiding us, and providing us with the strength to overcome our challenges. But do we really understand these verses? Do we grasp the profound wisdom they hold? Or do we simply read them, nod in agreement, and move on, without truly internalizing their message? As we embark on this journey of understanding, let's take a step back. Let's pause and reflect. Let's delve deeper into these verses and uncover what they truly mean to us as modern-day Christians. Join us as we explore 10 Bible verses that encourage trust in God. Our first verse, Proverbs 3, 5, 6, implores us to trust in the Lord with all our hearts. This verse encourages us to lean not on our own understanding, but to wholeheartedly trust in God. You see, our human understanding is limited, often clouded by our biases and perceptions. But God, with His infinite wisdom, sees the whole picture. He knows what is best for us, even when we don't understand it. In the context of modern life, this verse is a gentle reminder to let go of our need to control everything. Instead, we should submit to God's will, seeking His guidance in every decision we make. This doesn't mean we should stop thinking or making plans. Rather, it's about acknowledging that God's wisdom surpasses ours and that His plans for us are far better than we could ever imagine. Remember, as we submit to God, He will guide our paths. Psalm 56:3 reminds us where to turn when fear strikes. This verse, though ancient, is incredibly relevant to our modern lives. We all face fears and anxieties, don't we? They might be related to our jobs, our health, our relationships, or the state of the world. But here, the psalmist gives us a simple and powerful solution. When I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. In these 9 words, we're reminded that trust in God isn't just for the good times, or when we feel particularly spiritual. No, trust in God is also for the times when we're scared, when we're unsure, when we feel alone. It's in these moments that our faith is tested and can grow stronger. The psalmist doesn't promise that our fears will instantly vanish. But by placing our trust in God, we're acknowledging that He is bigger than our fears. We're choosing to focus on His power and His love for us. Even in fear, our trust in God remains our strength. Isaiah 26:3 presents a promise of peace for those who trust in God. This verse offers a profound insight into the tranquility that faith can bring into our lives. In our modern world, we often find ourselves caught in the whirlwind of stress, fear, and uncertainty. Yet, this verse tells us that steadfast trust in God brings perfect peace. The concept of perfect peace is a powerful one. It's not just an absence of conflict, but a deep-seated calmness that pervades our being, untouched by the chaos of life. It's the kind of peace that allows us to navigate through life's storms with grace and resilience. And how do we achieve this perfect peace? By keeping our minds steadfast, by focusing our thoughts not on our worries or fears, but on trusting God. It's about surrendering our need to control and leaning into faith. By trusting in God, we open our minds to His perfect peace. Psalm 37:3 encourages us to both trust in the Lord and do good. This verse is a beautiful reminder that faith is not a passive exercise, but one that calls us to action. In our modern context, it teaches us that trust in God and doing good are inextricably linked. You see, trusting in the Lord is more than just a mental or emotional state. It's a lifestyle, a way of being that influences our actions and decisions. When we put our trust in God, we are motivated to do good because we believe that He is good, and we want to reflect His goodness in our lives. Doing good, then, becomes a natural outcome of our trust. It's like a tree that, rooted in fertile soil, produces good fruit. The more we trust in God, the more we are inclined to do good, to show kindness, to love others, and to contribute positively to our world. Trusting in God and doing good lead us to a safe pasture. This is the promise of Psalm 37:3, a life of trust and goodness that leads us to peace and fulfillment. Psalm 91:2 declares God as our refuge and fortress. A refuge is a place of safety, a sanctuary where we can escape from the trials and tribulations of the world. A fortress, on the other hand, is a stronghold, a place built to withstand attacks. This verse is a powerful reminder to us that in God, we find both refuge and fortress. In our modern world, where uncertainties and challenges abound, we can often feel overwhelmed and under attack. Whether it's a health crisis, financial stress, or relational discord, these struggles can seem like towering walls, leaving us feeling vulnerable and exposed. But this verse assures us that God is our protector. When we trust in Him, He becomes our fortress, shielding us from harm. And He is our refuge, providing us solace and peace amidst the chaos. Trusting in God doesn't mean we won't face difficulties, but it does mean we won't face them alone. In God, we find a fortress and refuge, a place of trust. Proverbs 29:25 warns against the fear of man and encourages trust in God. Now, this verse is particularly relevant in our modern society, where the fear of judgment and societal pressure can often lead us astray. It's so easy to get caught up in what others think of us, to fear their disapproval or judgment. But this verse reminds us that such fears are a trap, a snare that can ensnare us and lead us away from the path God has set for us. Instead, we're encouraged to trust in God. Trusting in God means believing that He has our best interests at heart, that He will guide us and protect us. It's about letting go of our fears and anxieties and instead placing our faith in Him. It's about finding safety and security in His love and guidance, rather than in the fleeting and often fickle opinions of others. When we trust in God, we are kept safe from the snares of fear. Trusting in God is not just a spiritual act, but a practical one. It's a way to navigate the complexities and challenges of modern life with the confidence and assurance that comes from knowing we're not alone. Trusting in God is a source of strength, a beacon of hope, and a pathway to peace. Jeremiah 17:7 speaks blessings for those who trust in God. This verse is a beautiful reminder of the blessings that come from placing our trust in God. In today's fast-paced world, where we often rely on ourselves or others, this verse calls us to put our confidence in the Lord. But what does that look like for the modern Christian? It means recognizing that our strength and wisdom don't come from ourselves, but from God. It means acknowledging that our plans and desires may not always align with God's plans, and that's okay. We don't have to have everything figured out. We just need to trust in Him. When we place our trust in God, we are promised blessings. Now, this doesn't mean life will be without challenges. Rather, it means we can navigate those challenges with a sense of peace and confidence, knowing we're not alone. We're guided by a God who loves us, who wants the best for us, and who is working for our good. Blessed indeed is the one whose confidence is in God. Psalm 28:7 reveals the Lord as our strength and shield. This verse exudes a powerful message of faith and assurance. It's a testament to the protective and empowering nature of our Divine Father. In our contemporary world, this verse serves as a reminder that in times of hardship, confusion, or even the everyday grind, we have a steadfast protector. The Lord is our strength when we feel weak, our shield when we face adversity. It's about surrendering our worries and allowing divine power to guide us. When we place our trust in God, an amazing thing happens. Our hearts, once heavy with concern, become light, filled with joy. It's a joy that springs from faith, from knowing that we are not alone. We are aided, protected, and loved by a power greater than what we can comprehend. We are encouraged to express this joy, to sing praises, to acknowledge His guidance in our lives. In trust, our hearts leap for joy and we find strength in God. Psalm 20:7 contrasts trust in worldly powers with trust in the name of God. It's a powerful reminder that although some might find comfort in chariots and horses, symbols of human strength and wealth, we, as believers, choose to place our trust in something far greater. This verse speaks volumes to us in the modern era. In a world filled with materialistic temptations and distractions, it's easy to place our faith in the tangible. But this verse nudges us to look beyond, to trust in the divine and eternal. Remember, our lives are not defined by the car we drive, the house we live in, or the job title we hold. They are defined by the faith we have and the trust we place in the Lord. As we navigate through life, let's keep this verse close to our hearts. Despite worldly allure, we choose to trust in the name of our God. Psalm 62:8 invites us to trust in God at all times. This verse serves as a heartfelt reminder that our trust should not be conditional or intermittent. Even in the face of uncertainty, we are encouraged to keep our faith steadfast, pouring out our hearts to Him. In our modern, fast-paced life, this verse speaks volumes. It reminds us that in every situation, whether we're navigating the peaks of success or traversing the valleys of hardship, our trust should remain unwavering in God. The verse also encourages us to express our emotions openly to God. It's an invitation to be candid with our feelings, our fears, our joys, and our sorrows. This openness fosters a deeper connection, a more intimate relationship with God. It emphasizes that God is not just a distant deity, but a close confidant, a friend who listens. In every season of life, God is our refuge, a trustworthy sanctuary. We've journeyed through 10 verses, each showing us a facet of trust in God. Proverbs 3:5-6 calls us to trust in the Lord wholeheartedly, letting go of our own understanding. In a modern world where we're often tempted to rely on our own wisdom and knowledge, this verse reminds us that God's wisdom surpasses ours, and we should lean into His guidance. Then there's Psalm 56:3, a verse that affirms our trust in God during times of fear and uncertainty. Just as it was relevant to the psalmist thousands of years ago, it applies to us today, amidst a world that can often be daunting and unpredictable. Isaiah 26:3 offers the promise of perfect peace to those who remain steadfast in their trust in God. Amidst the hustle and bustle of today's fast-paced world, this verse is a gentle reminder of the serenity that comes with unwavering trust in God. Psalm 37:3 encourages us to trust in the Lord and do good. This verse is timeless, reminding us of our calling to be agents of positive change in our modern world, all while trusting in God's providence. Psalm 91:2, Proverbs 29:25, and Jeremiah 17:7, each in their unique way, reinforces the notion of God as our refuge, our fortress, and our ultimate source of safety. These verses resonate with us today, offering comfort and reassurance in the face of life's trials and tribulations. Psalm 28:7 and Psalm 20:7 remind us of the joy and strength found in trusting God. In a world that often prioritizes self-reliance, these verses encourage us to lean on God, our unwavering source of strength and joy. Finally, Psalm 62:8 invites us to trust in God at all times, pouring out our hearts to Him. This verse is a reminder of the open invitation to lean on God regardless of the circumstances we face in our modern lives. As we navigate our modern lives, let these verses remind us to trust in God, our unwavering refuge and guide.